3 years into our marriage, I finally became pregnant with Jasper Adams' child. He was ecstatic, and I quietly felt relieved. At last, my mother-in-law would stop her constant nagging, that is, until the day I went to his company to bring him lunch and was mistaken by his secretary for someone trying to curry favor with the wealthy. "You schemer, how dare you try to attract the attention of our CEO?" She threw the food on me and tore my clothes, leading to a miscarriage right there in the office. Before I lost consciousness, I heard her bragging to Jasper Adams, "Mr. Adams, I dealt with a woman trying to seduce you. How do you plan to thank me?" When I carried a lunchbox into the lobby of Adams Corporation, the receptionist didn't recognize me and said she needed to call Jasper Adams. "Go ahead," I replied. "I'm his wife, Eloise Taylor, here with his lunch." After a brief call, the receptionist nodded at me. "Ma'am, apologies for the wait. You may go up." Seeing my slightly rounded belly and noticing my difficulty moving, she thoughtfully pressed the elevator button for me. I thanked her as the elevator slowly ascended to the top floor. With a chime, the doors opened, but instead of Jasper Adams, a young, unfamiliar woman stood there. I assumed she was an employee and was about to walk past her when she blocked my path. "Are you the woman here to see Mr. Adams?" Her tone was extremely rude, prompting me to respond coolly. "I'm here to bring my husband lunch. What's it to you? Get out." She suddenly grabbed my lunchbox and, before anyone could react, opened it and dumped the contents over my head. The incident was so unexpected that I let out a scream, stepping back and trying to brush the food off. "What are you doing?" She tossed the lunchbox aside, looking smug, and shouted, "I've seen plenty like you, thinking you can catch Mr. Adams' eye with your looks." Hearing the commotion, several employees gathered around. An older employee recognized me and turned to scold her. "Fiona Brooks. What are you doing? Apologize to the boss's wife." Fiona Brooks was unfazed. "What boss's wife? Our CEO doesn't even have a girlfriend." She looked me up and down, her gaze lingering on my simple attire. Planning to visit a park after lunch, I dressed casually, my hair in a messy bun. Fiona Brooks sneered and, without warning, rushed over and tore my clothes. Ah! I couldn't dodge in time, and the fabric ripped loudly, exposing most of my shoulder. A manager who knew me quickly took off his jacket and draped it over me, dispersing the onlookers. He sternly addressed Fiona Brooks. "Fiona Brooks. Apologize now." Then he turned to me. "I'm sorry, Ms. Taylor, she's just an intern assistant who clumsily ruined your clothes. You can change in my office." Since this was Jasper Adams' company, I didn't want to escalate the situation, so I turned to leave, but Fiona Brooks wasn't done. She shoved the manager aside and kicked me to the ground. "Faking it, are you? I'll teach you a lesson." She sat on my stomach, and I instinctively protected my belly, screaming as she slapped me. "You schemer, trying to seduce Mr. Adams, I'll make you pay today." The intense pain spread through my limbs, and I gradually lost the ability to fight back. Her attacks grew more vicious, and I felt a warm liquid flowing down my legs. Blood. "She's bleeding." Amid the employees' gasps, Jasper Adams finally rushed over. He positioned himself between Fiona Brooks and me, holding me in his arms. "Jasper, our baby." I weakly lost consciousness, and before passing out, I heard Jasper's anguished shout and Fiona Brooks' scornful voice. "Mr. Adams, I took care of that ungrateful woman for you. How do you plan to thank me?" When I awoke, I saw the hospital's white walls, and Jasper Adams sat by my bed, his expression dark and unreadable. My hand slowly moved to my abdomen. It was flat. There had once been a small life there, but now it was gone. Jasper Adams held me, his voice deep. "We'll have another baby." I broke into tears. "Jasper, the baby was killed by that intern. I want justice. I want her to pay." Calm down, I've already fired her." Jasper Adams tried to reassure me. "You won't see her again." I stopped crying, staring into his eyes as if seeing him for the first time. "She insulted me, attacked me, and killed our baby. Is just firing her enough?" Jasper Adams avoided my gaze, picking up a slice of apple and offering it to me. I turned my head away, refusing to eat. "Jasper, tell me, why let her go?" After an awkward silence, Jasper Adams finally spoke. Because she's Jasper Adams' sister." My mother-in-law entered, draped in a silk shawl, and looked down at me with arrogance. Jasper Adams' father had passed away early, and his mother had raised him alone, developing a strong-willed personality. The first time I met his family, she bombarded me with questions and finally sat on the sofa, ready to lay down the law. I was also raised by doting parents, so I couldn't endure such humiliation. I turned and left, breaking up with Jasper Adams. That was a tough period. I sulked in my dorm room for a few days, then resumed classes and part-time jobs. Jasper Adams waited outside the dorm. Every time I stepped out, he'd follow me at a distance, even getting questioned by the guards a few times. "Just go," I said. "I date to marry. I don't want to live in fear under your mom's watch." Later, I heard he had a big fight with his mother, saying he'd stay single for life if he couldn't marry me. My friends all say that Eloise Taylor must be blind to fancy me. If you don't let me marry her, I'll never find someone as good. Under Jasper Adams' persistence, his mother finally relented but insisted on living with us. Jasper Adams told me everything and promised that although his mother would live with us, she wouldn't interfere with our lives. I still had feelings for him, and seeing him stand up to his mother for me, I agreed to his proposal. After marriage, my mother-in-law started pressuring me to have children. I said I'd wait a few years until my career was stable. How long is that? She pressed. A woman's prime years for childbirth are few, and besides, Jasp's company can easily support 5 of you. Why earn a meager salary at a kindergarten? Instead of raising other people's kids, why not have 1, no, 2 of Jasp's? I frowned, ready to argue, but Jasper Adams interjected, Mom, I'm busy with a big project right now, we can have kids later. When Jasper Adams said the same thing, his mom didn't push. Instead, she told him to take care of himself and not overwork. Jasper Adams chatted about other things, and her attention shifted. At the time, I was pleased, thinking I hadn't misjudged and had found a man worth spending my life with. I forgot that hearts can change and old flames can be hard to forget. 3, sister. I repeated slowly, I've been married to Jasper Adams for 3 years, and he has a sister I didn't know about? My gaze landed on Jasper Adams' face. He quickly stood up, claiming he had to take a call, and rushed out like he was escaping. My mother-in-law laughed proudly. Didn't he tell you? Compared to you, a mere opportunist, Fiona is the perfect match for him. I forced myself to sit up, leaning against the headboard. What do you mean? She explained that Fiona Brooks and Jasper Adams grew up together, childhood friends, inseparable. But she later moved abroad with her family, and they lost touch. Recently, Fiona graduated and returned to find a job. My mother-in-law was arranging to set her up with Jasper Adams, getting her into Adams Corporation. If it weren't for Jasp acting on impulse, do you think you could have entered the Adams family? Fiona is his equal in every way, background, education, looks, she's far superior to you. I scoffed. Just because she went abroad doesn't mean she died. If they had any feelings, why just reconnect now? Besides, I'm already married to Jasper Adams. I'm his legal wife. If he has anything with Fiona, it's cheating. She stood, looking down at me. You married Jasp for his money. He's got plenty of it, but you can't even keep his heart. You don't control Jasper Adams. If you want to push him to marry Fiona Brooks, that's up to him. I argued back with her, but inside, I was anxious. Jasper Adams is decisive but can't easily go against his mother. As he puts it, she raised him, and now he has to make her happy. I understood his feelings. Many times when she targeted me, I either pretended not to hear or quietly avoided her, not wanting to make things difficult for Jasper Adams. I never thought my tolerance would make her think I was easy to bully. So bold as to place someone next to Jasper Adams. You can't make decisions for Jasper Adams. If you want to persuade him to marry Fiona Brooks, it's up to Jasper. I was arguing with my mother-in-law, but inside, I felt anxious. Jasper Adams is decisive, but he struggles to defy his mother. As he puts it, she raised him, and now that he's successful, he feels obligated to keep her happy. I understand this. Many times when his mother targets me, I either pretend not to notice or quietly avoid her to spare Jasper any awkwardness. But my patience has made his mother think I'm easy to push around. Now she's audaciously trying to set him up with someone else. She left with an air of superiority, saying, I'll tell Jasp to give you more money. You should leave early and make room for Fiona. Shortly after, Jasper came back hesitantly. Once he saw his mom had left, he sighed with relief. Mom loves to meddle. Don't let it get to you. Hearing this, I gave him a cold stare. She brought Fiona Brooks into Adams Corporation, and you didn't refuse, did you? Jasper quickly defended himself. There's nothing between us. Her family helped me before. Now that she's back from abroad looking for a job, my mom asked me to help, so I just placed her in the company. She's been arrogant for a while. All my grievances spilled out. Your mom asks, and you just comply. She used to mess with me, and now Fiona Brooks, who studied abroad and has everything, gets a job at Adams Corporation? We've waited for this baby for so long, and she brushes it off with a misunderstanding? I shouted, my emotions nearly out of control. Jasper's face flushed with embarrassment and frustration before he finally managed. I already told her off. What's the use of that? I was nearly hysterical. Do you know what she just said to me? She said Fiona Brooks is the perfect wife for you. Jasper Adams, give me a straight answer. Are you going to marry her? Either divorce me or get Fiona and your mom out. Eloise Taylor. Jasper interrupted me sharply, then softened his tone. Just focus on recovering. I'll handle everything else. He pressed an orange into my hand and left quickly. I took a bite. It was sour, so I tossed it aside, for Jasper Adams intended to minimize the issue. But just as I was about to be discharged from the hospital, Fiona Brooks took the opportunity to visit me under the guise of an apology while Jasper was away. My mother-in-law sat composed on the sofa, with Fiona right beside her, creating an atmosphere that made me feel like an outsider. Eloise Taylor, Fiona has come to apologize. I've always treated her like Jasper's sister. She means well, just a bit impulsive, my mother-in-law said. We're all family, so let's just move on from this. Fiona feigned innocence, saying, I'm sorry, sister. when you came to see Jasp the other day, I thought you were just a maid bringing him food, trying to flirt with him. Hearing this, my mother-in-law scrutinized me. Change your clothes, you're not exactly a looker to begin with, and you always appear so unkempt. Look at Fiona, she just returned from abroad, and she carries herself so differently. Fiona giggled, flattering my mother-in-law, while they left me, the real victim, out in the cold, chatting away happily. I can't just let this slide. I suddenly stood up and slapped Fiona hard across the face. You killed my baby, and I demand justice. I attempted to hit her again, but my mother-in-law intervened and pushed me away. Eloise Taylor, you've crossed the line. This is the Addams family, not yours to command. Besides, Fiona only gave you a gentle push, and your carelessness led to the miscarriage. Don't blame Fiona. I took deep breaths, struggling to contain my voice. She hit me so hard that it resulted in a miscarriage, and you call that just a push? You're a mother too. If someone had hit you and caused you to lose Jasper, could you forgive them so easily? I nearly shouted the last sentence. Overwhelmed by the grievances of the past few days, I decisively kicked my mother-in-law aside and grabbed Fiona's hair, attacking her in a frenzy. Fiona's delicate face was left with bloody scratches, and her hair was disheveled, sticking to her tear-streaked face. Seeing her in such a pitiful state gave me a sense of satisfaction. My mother-in-law shrieked, trying to stop me, but she was too accustomed to a life of comfort, unable to restrain me, and ended up getting caught in the chaos herself. Stop, stop. What's going on here? Jasper Adams, who was supposed to be at work, had just returned home to find us in a chaotic brawl. He hesitated for a moment, then helped his mother up. Mom, what happened? My mother-in-law angrily pointed at me. It's your wonderful wife. Fiona came to apologize, but she refused to let it go and even attacked me. Fiona cried pitifully. Jasp, it's all my fault. I cared too much about you. I thought she was a dishonest maid and pushed her. It's only fair she doesn't forgive me. I stood my ground, coldly saying, Jasper Adams, I'm giving you two choices. I pointed at my mother-in-law and the tearful Fiona. It's either them or me. Jasper stood still, under the scrutiny of 3 pairs of eyes, awaiting his decision. He hesitated for a while, sighed deeply, and said, my mom raised me. Then go live with your mom. What's the point of being married to me? I said, tears choking my voice. She stirs up trouble, finds you a mistress, and you side with her in bullying me. It seems like I'm the only outsider here. Divorce. I can't live like this anymore. I rushed out of the house, noticing out of the corner of my eye that Jasper seemed to want to stop me, but Fiona held him back, and he didn't follow. The cold wind blew as I sat by the roadside in just my loungewear. A car stopped in front of me, and the window rolled down. Ms. Taylor. I looked closely, and it was my student Adeline and her father Asher. Get in the car, Ms. Taylor, Asher said. It's cold outside. 5 Adeline was too young to understand why I was sitting by the roadside in loungewear. Asher might have figured it out, but he didn't ask, only concerned about where I'd be staying. I'll stay in a hotel first, then move out once I find a place to rent, I said. Adeline was thrilled to run into her favorite Ms. Taylor and chatted with me excitedly in the back seat. Ms. Taylor, come to our house. My dad makes really good braised pork. I smiled and patted Adeline's head. You're such a good kid, Adeline. Ms. Taylor has food to eat, so I won't go to your house. Go home with your dad. It's late and your mom must be worried. Unexpectedly, Adeline shook her head. I don't have a mom, just my dad. I was taken aback and quickly apologized to Asher. I'm sorry, I didn't know. It's all right, Asher said calmly. Adeline is my comrade's child, and I adopted her. The car stopped steadily at the hotel entrance, and Asher left his phone number, telling me to call him if I needed anything. I thanked him, and Asher waved it off, saying he should be the one thanking me for taking such good care of Adeline. Everything happened so fast today. I went out to buy some essentials, quickly washed up, and planned to go back to the Adams house to pack my things the next day. The next day, I directly knocked on the door of the Adams villa. To my surprise, Jasper Adams hadn't gone to work. When he saw me, his eyes lit up with surprise. Please call me Ms. Taylor. Once I have the divorce papers ready, you can marry Fiona Brooks or anyone else you want, I said. Jasper panicked and blocked my way, preventing me from taking my luggage. No, listen to me. I don't want a divorce. There's nothing between Fiona and me. I've already kicked her out of Adams Corporation, and I promise I'll never see her again. I shook my head in disappointment. Even when I was about to separate from him, Jasper Adams still didn't understand why I wanted a divorce. A man who can't even protect his wife. A man who hasn't cut the apron strings. A cowardly man. How can he be someone to entrust my life with? Jasp, don't pay her any attention. If she wants to leave, let her go. Humph. She's not worth even a toe of Fiona's. She'll regret it after the divorce. Hearing the commotion, my mother-in-law came down the stairs, proudly linking her arm with Jasper's. I've already planned your wedding with Fiona. It has to be the most luxurious and beautiful. I let out a cold laugh, ready to leave with my luggage when Fiona appeared out of nowhere, standing by my mother-in-law's side. Wait, I want to check your suitcase. My mother-in-law chimed in, yes, Fiona is so thoughtful. Who knows if you've stolen any jewelry? Open your suitcase. I neither agreed nor refused. Instead, I said coldly, Ms. Brooks, in what capacity are you saying this? Jasper shrank back, quietly taking a step away from the smoke-filled showdown. My mother-in-law shouted, you're an outsider and have no right to interfere in Adam's family affairs. Open the suitcase. I nodded and opened the suitcase, and Fiona quickly snatched a small metal box from inside. You did hide something. She shook the box, listening to the clinking sounds inside, proudly thinking she had caught something on me. My mother-in-law looked at her approvingly. I suggest you don't open it, I said. The things inside aren't valuable, just keepsakes for me. Hearing my words, my mother-in-law got excited. Keepsakes. Are they the jewelry Jasper gave her? Open it and see. She gleefully opened the box, but upon seeing the contents inside, she couldn't help but scream in shock. Fiona was startled by my mother-in-law's scream, losing her grip, and the box clattered to the ground, spilling out a pile of ashes and a few small teeth. Jasper Adams, who had been uninvolved until now, rushed over upon seeing this, trembling as he asked, what is this? The baby's ashes, I said. The ashes incident seemed to finally make Jasper Adams realize my mother-in-law's cruelty. Knowing that my parents weren't local, he frantically messaged me, begging me to come back. I've sent Mom away. Let's live well from now on. I really didn't cheat. Don't listen to Fiona's nonsense. It's my fault for making you suffer. Give me another chance. You're here all alone. Where can you go after the divorce? You've had a miscarriage and hurt your body. It'll be hard for you to have kids again after remarrying. I watched as his messages popped up one by one, taking screenshots as evidence and sending them to my lawyer, from his initial pleading to his defensive explanations, finally turning into self-righteous questioning. It was laughable. Turns out, Jasper Adams wasn't unaware of my suffering. He just thought it was all justified. I was supposed to sacrifice myself to maintain this family. I was supposed to be filial to his mother. I was supposed to understand him supporting his childhood sweetheart. What's supposed to be? The 25-year-old Eloise Taylor might have swallowed all grievances for love, but the 28-year-old Eloise Taylor was clear-headed and firm. She saw Jasper Adams' foolish filial piety and cowardice and decisively chose to leave. The lawyer was introduced to me by Asher, a renowned expert in divorce cases. Before the court date, I transferred a thank you gift to Asher, which he didn't accept. Wait until you have good news. Then celebrate. Adeline talks about Ms. Taylor every day, hoping you'll come visit us when you have time. I didn't reply to the message, pretending I hadn't seen it, and exited the chat app. There's no such thing as should have. At 25, Eloise Taylor would endure anything for love, but by 28, she had gained clarity and determination. She recognized Jasper Adams' blind loyalty to his family and his cowardice, and she chose to walk away. Asher, a renowned divorce attorney, recommended a lawyer for me. Before the hearing, I tried to offer Asher a thank you gift, but he refused. Save it until you have something to celebrate. Adeline keeps asking about Ms. Taylor. She hopes you can visit us when you have a chance. I didn't respond to the message, choosing instead to ignore it and close the chat app. Both Asher and I were adults, and I understood his intentions. However, after one failed marriage, I wasn't eager to jump into another relationship just for comfort. On the day of the hearing, I ran into Jasper Adams outside the courthouse. He looked exhausted, with bloodshot eyes and an unshaven face. Seeing me, he asked, how did we end up here? He seemed lost in despair, and it was too late for questions. You shouldn't ask me, I replied. We were married for 3 years. Reaching the point of divorce wasn't my doing. He didn't seem to want an answer. He just bowed his head and slowly took his place at the defendant's seat. As expected, he hadn't even looked at the divorce agreement and stubbornly refused to divorce, thanks to my mother-in-law. During the 3 years of marriage with Jasper, every asset was meticulously accounted for. Of course, my contributions to the family over those 3 years weren't considered. When the gavel fell, it marked the end of my marriage with Jasper Adams. I stood up and, out of the corner of my eye, saw Fiona Brooks rushing over, excitedly hugging Jasper from behind. He looked numb and didn't push her away. I turned my head, ignored them, and left quickly. With the divorce finalized, I received the compensation I deserved. My parents learned of the divorce and, without asking many questions, transferred a substantial sum of money to me, urging me to focus on my work and promising to visit soon. I didn't go out of my way to find out about the Adams family, but City A was small, and their drama quickly became well known. Even though Jasper divorced me, he didn't marry Fiona. Fiona was eager to establish her status, attending events as Mrs. Adams, only to be reprimanded by Jasper. Adams Corporation appeared successful, but it was plagued with internal strife. When I married Jasper, fearing retaliation from competitors and with no need to publicize my identity, I attended very few events. Most only knew Jasper was married. Fiona's ostentatious actions attracted attention like sharks sensing blood, leading people to delve into her and Jasper's affairs. Of course, none of this concerned me. The 3 years of turmoil with the Adams family felt like a dream. Once free from the stifling marriage, I realized how vast the world truly was. One weekend, Asher invited me to an amusement park. Adeline, now in elementary school, proudly showed me her excellent essay. Ms. Taylor, my teacher asked us to write about my mom, and I asked if I could write about my half-mom. The teacher asked why half. I said, my birth mom became a star, but Ms. Taylor from kindergarten loves me, and she's my half-mom. The teacher said to go ahead. I wrote it, and the teacher gave me a big excellent. She walked between Asher and me, chatting away, then suddenly ran ahead. Slow down. Asher called out, apologizing to me. Adeline gets excited and runs around. I'll keep an eye on her, or she'll get lost. I nodded in understanding, and Asher went after her, disappearing into the crowd. I was about to follow when someone grabbed my arm. Jasper's voice came from behind. Who's that man? I texted Asher that I needed to use the restroom, then put my phone in my bag and looked at Jasper across the table. Whatever you have to say it here in this cafe. Don't come looking for me again, I said. Jasper started to speak, but I quickly cut him off. If it's about him, forget it. I haven't pried into your and Fiona's business, so please respect my privacy. Hearing this, he ran a hand through his hair and took a deep breath. For the sake of our 3 years of marriage, can you help me one more time? I stared at him. His guilt was as insubstantial as dust, easily blown away. Even after the divorce, he shamelessly asked for my help. No, I said, I have no obligation to help. Go ask your mom. Jasper got anxious. You don't need to do anything, just don't interfere. I grabbed my bag and left, not interested. I've already bought my ticket, don't follow me. I hurried out, pushing the door open and running into Asher and Adeline looking for me. Asher saw me, and then Jasper running after me. He immediately pulled me behind him. Who are you? Jasper's eyes turned red, seeing Asher blocking him. He swung a punch. You shameless man, how dare you get involved with L? Asher calmly dodged Jasper's attack and kicked him to the ground. Onlookers gasped. Jasper felt humiliated and, enraged, got up to fight Asher again. Nobody move. Suddenly, I heard a loud shout. Several people in blue uniforms pushed through the crowd and pinned Jasper to the ground. Asher had waited for a long time and, recalling my persistent ex-husband, decisively called the police. He first drove Adeline to a nearby friend's store and then joined the police to find me. Sure enough, he arrived just in time to see Jasper harassing me and intervened. The arriving police took us all to the police department. What's your relationship with them? A police officer asked me, holding a notebook. I thought for a moment and pointed at Jasper, persistent ex-husband, then at Asher, current boyfriend. Asher's head shot up, his eyes sparkling with surprise. The officer looked at our IDs, then focused on Jasper. Mr. Adams, since you're divorced from Ms. Taylor, you should keep a respectful distance, otherwise, it could impact both of you negatively. Jasper's face turned pale. He opened his mouth to argue but ultimately just lowered his head. He knew nothing he said could change the situation. Consider this a warning, the officer said to Jasper, then turn to me. Ms. Taylor, if he harasses you again, you can apply for a restraining order. I nodded, ready to leave with Asher when a bright figure dashed in. Jasper. I looked closely. It was Fiona Brooks, wearing a strapless dress with layers of clinking gold jewelry, looking ready for a gala. Are you related to Jasper Adams? Fiona proudly declared, yes, I'm his wife. She shot me a smug glance, but I ignored her and quickly left the police department. Asher and I walked a good distance away, still hearing the officer say to Jasper, that's not right, you're remarried, so why are you still entangled with your ex-wife? Asher wrapped an arm around me. Let's pick up Adeline and have dinner outside, shall we? His palm was slightly sweaty, and he looked nervous, his eyes shining like a large, earnest dog. Sure, I leaned against him as we walked forward. Thanks to Asher, I finally learned why Jasper came to harass me months after our divorce. It turned out Fiona's high-profile actions had attracted industry attention, and investigations uncovered her scheme to oust me and take my place. Fiona's antics didn't bother Jasper much, but this time it caused a scandal, even though they weren't legally married. The rumors could damage Adams Corporation's reputation. Fiona suggested that since my presence was low-key early on, they could replace my 3 years of marriage with her. Desperate, Jasper actually took her advice and came to me to keep quiet. He disguised himself as a parent to find my address and waited outside my building. Seeing me get into Asher's car, he followed us to the amusement park, planning to confront me when I was alone. I'm not trying to take advantage. Asher said cautiously, Eloise, would you be my wife? I paused. Why? Asher replied, because you're worth it. Your ex-husband is a fool who couldn't even keep his wife at home. I despise such men. I love you, not because Adeline likes you, or out of a shallow sense of victory, but because your resilience and maturity attract me. I don't fear gossip. I heard it all when I adopted Adeline. I felt tears welling up. I reached out to hug him back, nestling against his broad chest. I paused for a moment and asked, why? Asher replied, because I'm worth it. Your ex-husband is blind to what he had. A man who would drive his wife away is someone I deeply despise. I love you not because Adeline likes you or out of some shallow competitiveness, but because your strength and maturity draw me in. I don't mind if people talk. I'd been hearing it ever since I adopted Adeline. A wave of emotion hit me, and I hugged him back, leaning into his broad chest. Let's find a time to make our marriage official. We had a simple wedding celebration, attended only by family and close friends. Adeline was our little flower girl. Her face lit up with a sweet smile as she tossed petals over Asher and me. After the celebration, I took a day off so Asher and I could formally register our marriage. However, just outside the marriage registry office, I bumped into Jasper Adams and Fiona Brooks, who were there to get their marriage certificate as well. While we waited, Asher went to buy a bottle of water, giving me a moment to talk to Jasper. Is he good to you? Jasper asked softly. He's amazing, I replied. We both have our own careers, and neither of us is just an accessory to the other. Plus, I don't have to worry about pregnancy or recovery, and I gained a wonderful daughter. Jasper rested his head on his hands, watching Asher and Adeline as they walked away, his voice catching. If it weren't for Fiona Brooks, would we have? I cut him off. There's no what if. Even without Fiona Brooks, your mother wouldn't have accepted me. You wouldn't leave her or protect your wife in the Adams family, where wives are just outsiders, honey. It's our turn. Fiona Brooks called out as she joined us, wearing a loose dress that slightly showed her belly. She eyed me warily. I smiled at her and stood up. Congratulations. I need to find my husband and daughter, so I won't stay. I saw Fiona relax as she urged Jasper to move along. Jasper seemed like he wanted to say more, but seeing Fiona's pregnant belly, he hung his head and followed her. I went outside to find Asher. As expected, he hadn't taken Adeline to buy water. He was waiting just around the corner. Dad, why did we step out here? Adeline asked. Asher patted her head. Remember when you finished kindergarten and said goodbye to your friends before coming home with Dad? Adeline nodded. It's the same for Mom. She has to say goodbye to her past before coming home with us. Did Mom finish school too? Asher replied. Yes, she graduated. I quickly approached them. Come on, it's our turn. Adeline, are you ready? Ready, she answered enthusiastically, shaking her children's camera. My job is to capture Mom and Dad's most precious moments. She took Asher's hand in one of hers and mine in the other, bouncing forward with joy. Extra, my name is Jasper Adams. My father passed away early, and my mom raised me with care, hoping I'd establish my life and career. I fulfilled her wishes by completing my business degree and successfully taking over my father's company, the Adams Corporation. I thought I'd checked off the major milestones, and my mom would finally be at ease. But she often questioned what I saw in Eloise Taylor. Eloise was a junior at my school, studying early childhood education. Initially, my mom was pleased with her, but over time, her criticisms grew. Ordinary background, looks, studying early childhood education. Well, at least it's useful for raising kids, but she's young and needs me to guide her. I thought this meant my mom was accepting Eloise, so I happily told Eloise I wanted to introduce her to my mom. Instead, my mom reheated leftovers for Eloise, thinking it was a mistake. I swapped my meal with Eloise's, narrowly avoiding disaster. After dinner, my mom called her to the living room, saying she wanted to teach her. When I tried to join, my mom sent me to do the dishes. Soon after, Eloise came in, told me she had to leave, and left. I didn't think much of it until I finished the dishes and found out Eloise had broken up with me and blocked me everywhere. What did you say to her? I demanded. My mom calmly sipped her tea on the sofa. This is my house. If she can't accept that, she shouldn't be my daughter-in-law. I was furious, argued with my mom, and camped outside Eloise's dorm, promising her my mom wouldn't interfere in our lives. She finally agreed to marry me, with the company keeping me busy. I left my mom in Eloise's care. Eloise wanted to hire someone to look after my mom, but my mom refused. Hiring help costs money. Jasp works hard for it. Besides, it's a daughter-in-law's duty to care for her mother-in-law. I have a job too. Why should I manage everything at home? Wasn't your mom looked after before we got married? Caught between my mom and wife, I was at a loss. Eventually, I found a distant relative to help, and my mom relented on having Elle look after her. Just as one storm passed, another arose. My mom started insisting on us having a child. I'm busy, I said. Let's wait a bit. That wait lasted 3 years until Elle got pregnant. I was thrilled and asked her to rest at home. My mom volunteered to take care of her, and I thought with her precious grandchild on the way, she wouldn't mistreat Elle. Unexpectedly, when Elle came to deliver lunch, Fiona Brooks saw her and mistook her for a maid trying to seduce me, leading to a tragic miscarriage. When I heard, I was furious and wanted to take action against Fiona, but my mom stopped me. I had someone check. Eloise was carrying a girl. My mom said, "You're almost 35. If she has a girl, she'll need 2 or 3 years to recover. By then, the child you conceive won't be as smart." It was an accident that she miscarried. She shouldn't have been flaunting herself at your office. I've already spoken to Fiona. That child is spoiled, and it wasn't intentional. Let it go. I realized then that my mom likely had ulterior motives when she brought Fiona Brooks into Adams Corporation. Did you tell Elle to bring me lunch? My mom avoided my eyes. Isn't that her job? She miscarried and needs to recover. She's no match for Fiona, young, beautiful, and educated. Listen to your mom, divorce her, and marry Fiona. My impression of Fiona Brooks was faint. I only knew she had gone abroad with her family and recently returned. I didn't want to go against my mom, so I appeased Eloise, saying I'd punish her. However, Eloise was sharp. She guessed my mom's intentions and decisively divorced me. After the divorce, I was heartbroken, looking for any chance to reconcile. Meanwhile, Fiona Brooks moved into the Adams home, attending various events and acting as Mrs. Adams. I tried to kick her out, but she cried, asking for more time. Unexpectedly, she drugged my food, and when I woke up, she showed me a positive pregnancy test. My mom was ecstatic, and with external pressure, I had no choice but to marry her. On the day Fiona Brooks and I registered our marriage, we coincidentally ran into Eloise Taylor and another man doing the same. She smiled, holding his hand as they walked into the marriage registry office. I watched her, lost in thought, until Fiona Brooks dragged me away. My mom, as if completing a major task, exhaled deeply, advising me to take good care of Fiona Brooks. But whenever I saw the items Eloise left in the nursery, I couldn't help but recall her touching her belly with happiness. When Fiona Brooks went into labor, my mom and I waited outside the delivery room. But when the child was brought out, it was a blonde, blue-eyed baby, causing my mom to faint. It turned out Fiona's father had gone bankrupt, and her mother took her abroad to escape debts. Fiona barely scraped by, working odd jobs. After high school, she couldn't make it on her own and decided to return to China, hoping to find a wealthy man to continue her lavish lifestyle. She met my mom, who was easily deceived, and managed to drive away Eloise and enter the Adams family. Discovering she was pregnant, Fiona wasn't sure who the father was but hoped to bluff her way through. But the moment the baby was born, her lies unraveled. My mom regained consciousness, demanding I divorce. Fiona, being stubborn, demanded a large sum of money, then abandoned the child at an orphanage and disappeared, leaving to enjoy herself. My mom was devastated, urging me to marry again, even if it meant getting back with Eloise. She wouldn't object. However, Eloise had already remarried. After all the chaos, Adams Corporation was severely weakened and soon overtaken by competitors. My mom and I reverted to the life we had before I inherited the Adams Corporation. I couldn't understand how trying to be a good son led everything to become such a mess. My mom woke up in a fit, insisting that I divorce Fiona Brooks. Fiona, being manipulative, managed to extort a significant amount of money from us, then immediately abandoned the child at an orphanage and disappeared to enjoy her life elsewhere. My mom was in hysterics, urging me to find another wife, even suggesting I reconcile with Eloise Taylor, despite her having remarried. After all this upheaval, Adams Corporation was left in ruins and quickly gobbled up by a competitor. We returned to the life we had before I inherited Adams Corporation. I was bewildered, unable to grasp why my simple wish to be a dutiful son had led to such chaos in my life. Later, my mom heard rumors about a wealthy woman seeking a sperm donor and suggested I apply. When I refused, she resorted to drugging me. When I came to, I was met with the sight of a filthy metal bunk bed, a cold cement floor, and a door that looked like it belonged in a prison. A quick check revealed my phone, wallet, and clothes were gone, leaving me in just my underwear. Number 117, step out. After a few lashes, I was pushed into an open area where many others stood, their faces void of emotion. I stumbled to join them. A man in a suit was already on stage, delivering a stern lecture. Behind him hung a banner that read, Cesida Eastern International Park. The world spun around me, and I collapsed to the ground.